what's up, VC? It's Steve again, Harmless Rebel, and if you can't tell by the music and the shirt that I am wearing, it's time to show my Kiss collection. This is at the request of John, SMF Captain Howdy, obviously the biggest Kiss fan, or arguably the biggest Kiss fan in the VC. So I decided to oblige him. So let's just go ahead and get started. And before I get to that, let me kind of talk about my journey with Kiss a little bit, because it has been a journey over the years. I did kind of get into Kiss in the 80s. I want to say around the time, I believe it was around the time Creatures of the Night came out, maybe Lick It Up, that time frame. I was a fan, not a real diehard fan. I remember having both of those albums on cassette and playing them somewhat regularly. And then I just kind of stopped listening. No real reason behind it. When I moved to CDs and stuff in the late 80s, I just wasn't listening to Kiss anymore. I was kind of into the glam rock at that time, and was just starting to get into the heavier stuff in the late 80s. And I just wasn't listening to Kiss. No real reason, no positive or no negative issues or anything like that. I do remember when Hot in the Shade came out, and I believe it was '89. I bought a copy of that on CD and listened to that quite a bit. Even though it's not considered one of their best albums, I actually really liked that album. Again, I bought Revenge when it came out. I dug that. But then again, I just didn't have that real connection with Kiss yet. You know, I liked a bunch of their songs. I really liked a lot of their songs from the 70s. I was a fan of Alive 2. I actually had a copy of Alive 2 on vinyl back in the 80s, and that's probably the one album that stood out to me the most, because that was one that I really did listen to quite a bit, and probably 83, 84 time frame. Again, or 82, 83, that Creatures of the Night, Lick It Up era. And then again, just kind of listen to them here and there. Then when I was about 18, 19 years old, I had a roommate who was a hardcore Kiss fan. He was the first really hardcore Kiss fan I knew that went to every single show. He had his room decorated in Kiss stuff. Had all of their cassettes, all of their CDs. He wasn't a vinyl guy, but had everything on cassette and CD. Whenever something new came out, he was at line at midnight to get a copy of it. So I listened to a lot of Kiss with him as well. Never went to see any of the concerts with him. So the turning point for me was the 2012 concert. And it's funny, I actually went to see Kiss. I was actually going to see Motley Crue, and I've talked about being a Motley Crue fan before. I've been a Motley Crue fan since the early 80s. I really wanted to see Motley Crue again. It was my 6th or 7th time seeing them. I don't remember. Maybe more. And my wife and I actually talked about leaving shortly after. And then Kiss came on. And I was blown away by the entire experience. As a kid, like I said, I really loved the whole iconography. I love the makeup. I love the whole idea behind Kiss. It really interested me. I just never got into it. But then during that first song, and they were the 2012 tour. They were using a setup from the 70s. I had read about it. I can't remember exactly which stage set they were using, but it was one of their stage setups from the mid to late 70s. And that show just really blew me away. And then after that show, I immediately went out and bought the Kiss Alive box set. And then I've just slowly been building my Kiss collection as I find stuff. Now I haven't physically gone, or I shouldn't say that. I haven't gone online and bought everything. I can do that. It's more been more organic as I'm digging. If I run across something that's in really good condition, I pick it up, which is why I don't have the entire collection yet. And I am slowly replacing stuff with nicer copies. All of these that I'm about to show, the vinyl is in really good shape. The vinyl's immaculate on pretty much all of them, but a lot of them are very well used, the sleeves. So I'm slowly working on replacing those and also filling in those holes that I'm missing. But so that's just kind of my Kiss story in a nutshell. Very late to the party as a collector. However, I've always kind of been listening to the band, and I've always liked the band. I've just gotten more into them over the last few years since actually seeing them in concert. And I've actually gone to see them once again since then, and next time they come through this area, I'll go see them again. So again, we'll start with 74. 74 obviously brought Kiss. Now, I've tried to find a nice original pressing of this, and I just haven't. Every time I see any copy, even the late 70s, the early 80s presses, they're always trashed. I mean, they're just so well played, and for good reason. I mean, this is just an amazing album. This is not my favorite Kiss album, but this is probably my second favorite. And this is probably the second or third most listened to album in the Kiss collection. This is the new represses that they just did this last year. And I told myself, and I've said this on the VC before, I refuse to go and pay $35, $38 that they're charging for these new represses. However, when I run across them for a good price, I'm going to grab them. And this one, and also the soundtrack to The Elder, were both mispriced at $25, so I grabbed both. They were $23.99, so I grabbed both of them. And I've been going back to that store. They've had other stuff pop up mispriced, but it's stuff that I already have. So they've had this pop up a couple times, and the Elder pop up a couple times. So, and the cool thing about this is obviously not just that it's a repress and that it sounds amazing. It's pretty much an exact repress. If you look at it, it's on a blue Bogart label, just as it was in 1974. And the cool thing, to eliminate any confusion, which I wish more record companies would do this when they do represses, it actually says 2014 on here, so there's no confusion as to, somebody's not going to be able to pass this off as an original press that's just in immaculate condition, I would still like to find one of those first and second pressings, and I still look. Kiss is one of those bands, no matter where I go, no matter what record store I go to, even if I'm only going there for a quick second to grab something, I always stop at the Kiss bin. I always stop and look for Kiss and Judas Priest. That's the two bands that I'm looking for everything for right now. So that was Kiss. Also in 74 was Hotter Than Hell. And this is a near mint, pretty much first pressing. This is actually my third copy of this that I bought. I just sent my last copy to John for Christmas. So, and again, blue Bogart label. And like I said, Hotter Than Hell is my favorite Kiss album. It's hard to say that. I love them all, but Hotter Than Hell is the one I always go back to, followed by the self-titled album. And the number 3 for me would be a toss-up between probably Destroyer and Dress to Kill. Now, I don't have Dress to Kill. That's the only Kiss album from the 70s that I don't have yet. However, and I have shown this, and many of you have seen this, I do have a copy of it in here. And this is my Japanese pressing of Kiss, the originals. And I actually, the trade where I got this was with SMF Captain Howdy with John. And that was kind of our introduction to each other. But I'm a big fan of Japanese pressings, and he mentioned he had an extra of the originals. And I jumped all over it. I traded him for 3 Pink Floyd albums, one of which I really didn't want to trade, but that's how much I wanted to have this. and it sounds amazing, as all Japanese pressings do, especially from the 70s. Just an amazing, amazing set. And it's funny, I actually run across the set here in the U.S. pretty regularly. They just always want so much money for it, you know. One of the local record stores has 2 of them on the wall, and they're both pretty trashed, and they're both over $100. I mean, it just blows me away. And then next up, we have, of course, Kiss Alive. Now, this is the first copy that I've had this one for a couple of years now. You know what? I may not have had this one for that long. You know what? I've only had this one for about a year. This was another album that was really hard to find in good condition. And this is the one of the late 70s pressings, but it's in real nice condition. It plays nice, and I was really happy to run across that. And then just recently, one of the members of the VC posted that they had a super clean first pressing, again on the Blue Bogart label. So I picked that up. I've got all the actual insert, or the book is in here, and I've got the original inner sleeves. I just prefer these polyline sleeves, so that's, you'll notice that when I show these, most of them are in polyline sleeves. Now I will say I overpaid for this. The guy that I got it from, this is nothing against him, it's just the way I rate stuff compared to the way other people rate this. He put that it's in excellent, like new condition. You know, it's probably a good VG plus. The vinyl's really nice though. There's some light scratches and light marks on it, but it doesn't affect the play. But again, it's a VG plus, and I paid more than near mint price for it. So, let's see. So again, I don't have Dress to Kill. Next up, we have Destroyer. Now this one is one of those where the vinyl's in really nice shape, but obviously the sleeve has been through hell. And this one again, Blue Bogart label. Somebody was nice enough to put their name on it. But I paid like $3 or $4 for this, you know. And again, the original inserts in there. Next is Rock and Roll Over. This is there in my top 5 too. I love this album as well. By the way, we're listening to the Millennium Concert from the Alive box set. If you haven't seen this, this is a great box set. This was the only way, if I remember correctly, to get this. Until they just recently re-released it. But this has all the Alives, except the What Became Alive 4, the symphonic album, which I don't have yet. That's one that's on my want list. I've never actually seen it anywhere. Then we have Love Gun, another just killer album. And of course, this one had its own Love Gun inner sleeve there. Center label there. The next album that came out was Kiss Alive 2. Again, this is my favorite of the Alives. And what it comes down to for me, I love the sound and the quality equally of Alive 1 and 2. It just comes down to the songs. I like the song selection better on this one than Alive 1. And again, that has to do with the time. You know, half of these songs weren't out yet that were played on Alive 2. But again, this is another, this thing is in immaculate condition. You got a little ring wear up here, but other than that, it just plays beautifully. The next album that came out was Double Platinum. And then, I mean, I got this for pretty cheap. I didn't pay a whole lot of money for it. But, and this had its own label as well. But I was told that the insert was in here, not knowing, you know, again, I had just gotten into Kiss. This was actually the, yeah, this was, I believe, the first, actually. I think I said it was another one. This was actually the first Kiss album that I got when I started collecting again, and this was about 2 years ago. And I didn't look up what inserts are supposed to be in here, so the guy's like, yeah, the insert's in there. I didn't pay, like I said, I paid less than $10 for it, so this isn't a big deal. But it had a copy of the insert from the originals, as opposed to the Platinum album, and I believe it came with a poster. And that inner book from the U.S. version of the originals, I sent to John with the Pink Floyd because he needed a copy of the book. So, and then we have the Kiss solo albums. Now, I did get quite a bit of exposure to this one through my friend Travis, who was my roommate back in the 90s. This was his favorite album from Kiss, so we listened to it all the time, and I really learned to love this album, and Ace Frehley. But Ace Frehley's solo, which is by far my favorite of the solos. Next we got Paul Stanley. This one's corner clipped, unfortunately, but then we got Gene, which would be my third favorite. And of course Peter Criss, which I still, you know, a lot of people complain about the Peter Criss album. I still like it. It's a different sound, you know, but still a great album. Definitely the least Kiss-like, though. I would say probably Paul's is the most Kiss-like, but it is what it is. Next up we have Dynasty, which, if I remember correctly, Dynasty had its own label as well. I don't have the posters or the inserts for any of these, really, unfortunately. Again, as I slowly find them and upgrade, I'll be getting all that stuff. But this is one I just recently got. I got it from a dollar bin. It was the next album. Now we're up to 1980, Unmasked. It's a great player. The record's in pretty good shape. Obviously the sleeve is beat to hell. But again, it was $1, you know. Again, I mentioned this earlier. This was mispriced for $24.99 or $23.99, which is the main reason that I picked it up. I've actually been looking for this album for a long time, and I never see it. I remember back in the 90s, I used to see this everywhere. Every place that had records, they had a copy of this album. And now now that I've been looking for it, you can't find it anywhere. But the soundtrack or the music from The Elder. And this again is the 2014 repress. Next up, the next album was Creatures of the Night. Unfortunately, I don't have that. Sadly, because Creatures of the Night is actually one of my favorite Kiss albums as well. I probably said, have I said that about all of them yet? I think it's one of their heaviest albums, which I really like. But like I said, unfortunately, I don't have it. But that's definitely on the list as well. But next up, we've got Lick It Up. And this one was just a... I just recently picked this one up. And this is once I got to the Mercury labels now. Then after Lick It Up is, of course, Animal Eyes. Another of my recent pickups. And I have a bunch of these on cassette. I was looking for them a minute ago, and I don't know what happened to them. They're floating around here somewhere, though. I don't have Asylum on vinyl. I do have that one on cassette, though. But definitely looking for this one on vinyl as well. And if I remember correctly, this was John's favorite. Next up was Crazy Nights. And I definitely remember this one in the record stores. I remember going to the record store with my dad and seeing the posters on the wall. And just thinking how ridiculous these guys look. I remember them looking so cool in the early 80s with the makeup on and stuff. And then you've got Paul Stanley with his thong hanging out. And then Gene, and I don't know what the hell kind of pose that is, but they're both just looking fruity as all heck. And it is what it is, you know. And then from there, you had Hot in the Shade, Revenge, Carnival of Souls. I don't have any of those. That was followed by Psycho Circus, which I do have. Again, the 2014. Well, I guess this wouldn't be the 2014 repress. This would be the first release on vinyl, but with the holographic cover there. And then that was, of course, followed up by Sonic Boom, which was one of my more recent additions to the collection. You can see there it's the purple vinyl. And there was some controversy about this one. You know, I mentioned that it almost had like a blue swirl. And you can kind of see it. It almost had some blue in the vinyl. And a couple of people had mentioned that it may be a counterfeit because they had never heard of it having any of that blue in the vinyl. So I kind of got worried. And I went on this crazy investigative search. Because, you know, John did his video and pointed out all the shortfalls between the legitimate albums and the counterfeits, and mine wasn't meeting any of those. You know, it's all real sharp. The images are all the way they're supposed to be. Everything he pointed out is correct, except the cover. And then, you know, I went crazy. I literally went to Discogs and looked up everybody that had a purple copy and sent them an email asking them a couple of questions. And I verified with 3 different people who ordered theirs directly from the KISS website that theirs does have a little bit of blue in the purple. So, plus none of the bootlegs that I've seen have the actual hype sticker. They all have either a little sticker here or there's another square one. There's different variations, but none of them have the actual KISS Online exclusive sticker. So, regardless. And then that's pretty much it. I've got Smashes, Thrashes, Hits, or Smashes, Thrashes, and Hits on cassette. I've actually got 2 or 3 other. I don't know where they're at though. I don't know. You can tell I've been doing some cleaning. You can see I've got albums everywhere, and I got a little cleaning station set up where I'm going through and kind of straightening up the listening room here and just cleaning my collection. So it could be floating around. I actually have a copy of Monster somewhere too. It's still sealed. I haven't even opened it. It's in one of those stacks over there, and I didn't feel like going through all of that, but I do have a copy of Monster as well. So like I said, I'm missing Carnival of Souls, Revenge, Hot in the Shade, Asylum, Creatures of the Night, and Dress to Kill. And then, of course, the 2 newest concerts. Like I love the Millennium Concert, and I love Alive 3. I'll eventually get those. They're usually $45. I've seen on Amazon a couple times private sellers selling them for $30, $32. So I'll probably get copies of both of those. And I haven't decided. I may at some point, you know, just start picking up those represses. You know, I really do like the way they sound. I love how good of a job they did on them. But that's where the collection's at. Tell me what you think, VC. That's pretty much it. Thanks for everything, John. Take care, buddy.